for sure.
So we're at 101. What do you think, Laura Iseta? Should we start right on
Yeah,
time?
and
Okay.
sure, we should start right on time, and people can join in as they arrive. Is that
Okay.
good? Yeah, cool. Okay, so I'm going to start. Welcome everybody. This is super fantastic. So exciting to see so many people here. Um, so I'm just going to give you a super quick introduction and tell you how this hour is going to unfold. My name is Laura McCoy, and I'm a TDSB teacher. I teach visual arts and various other things. And we also have Nigel Barif, who's an ETT executive officer, and Aisata Conte, who's a TDSB teacher as well and does a lot of dance stuff. So the three of us are part of a caucus of ETT called Building Union Power, and we've been doing a series of webinars on various topics, and this one we're focusing on the arts. And we're all very passionate about the arts, and we came up with the idea because we were a little concerned in our remote online learning that the arts might be, left behind or left off. And I know from personal experience and my children that the arts are really motivating and a super important part of their school day and their lives. And we wanted to make sure we had spaces to have these conversations and do some sharing. And as Iseta just said, the TDSB Arts Department has been putting on some really great webinars as well. So we're certainly just hoping to build on that and participate in that conversation. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start with a land acknowledgement, and then we'll sort of run through what the hour is going to look like. So welcome, everybody. We acknowledge that we're hosted on the lands of the Mississauga of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat. And we also recognize the enduring presence of all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. And I also wanted to say, as a settler on this land, I want to acknowledge the history that has led to increased vulnerability of the Indigenous populations to epidemics and pandemics. And we all know the really horrific history, loss of culture, poverty, high incidence of underlying health issues, which are really troubling, of course, and disturbing. And I would like to point to our responsibility to fight to change these conditions. So I'd like to start with that. Thank you. So this hour's event is exploring different arts. So we're going to look at some visual arts, dance, drama, and music. Nigel and Iseta and I will share a few brief things that we've been doing. We have the chat going, so you can put comments in the chat or questions, things you would like to share. And then we will have some time to ask questions. We have a fairly large number of people. I think we have 38 participants, but when we get to the chat portion, you can turn on your mic and share things that you would like to share or ask questions. And I would also like to say that every now and then I get a note that says that my internet is unstable, so it seems like it's not actually working. Let me know. I know we're all having internet issues. So what I would like to do is just share, okay, so actually we can start with Iseta. So Iseta's going to share the warm-up activity at the beginning to get us all going. So I'll pass that over to Iseta.
Yes, good morning, everyone. So my name is Iseta. I currently teach grade 6-7 at Chief Dan George Public School. And in my program, I find many ways to integrate the arts wherever possible, particularly dance. So I want to start with a warm-up that actually we did last week. Thank you, Lorraine and Mary Moynihan and Arvin. I don't know if Arvin's on the call, but it's good to see so many familiar faces here. I see Bakari's here, one of the founding members of COBA, Collective of Black Artists. And I used to dance with that company once upon a time. So morning, Bakari. And yeah, lots of secondary elementary teachers, happy that you're here. And we're here from all over Ontario as well. I see there's teachers here from Greater Essex as well. So welcome to those teachers as well. So last week we did sort of a mirroring warm-up activity and I loved it. I actually tried it with my students this week, and some of them have chosen not to have their cameras on. We are using the Google Meet format, so we normally do audio meets, just check-ins with them, and the majority of them, have chosen not to use their cameras, which is totally understandable. We can go into conversation about that as well. But it's a mirroring activity, so I'm going to ask whether or not your camera is on. You can follow along with me, but I am the leader and you are the follower. So whatever I do, you will do with me. So we'll start now. Okay, so it's just a quick warm up. We can isolate body parts as well, which I've done with my students. So for those who don't even want to show their face, it can just be hands only, right? So we can play with that and play with isolating different body parts. But in the classroom, typically, yes, we'd see each other. We'd be standing, distance, but we'd see each other, and I would lead my students through this sort of a warm up. So there are ways that, yes, we have to be creative when it comes now to this task of navigating this new terrain of trying to integrate the arts, but in this online format, which was sort of just, drastically thrown upon us. So that was just a little warm up I wanted to share with you that I picked up from another chat that we just embarked on last week. So another thing that I've been working on with my students is incorporating drama. And I'm going to share a little bit about that. So grade 6, 7 this year, but I teach all areas. So language, social studies, geography. And in my online format, we've been working with poetry and starting to express ourselves and express what we're feeling, because I felt a lot of my students definitely needed that outlet. And so we did some poetry this week, and the students wrote, just around how the impact of being inside, what that feels like. And they were able to articulate themselves and share their thoughts and share their feelings. And then I incorporated some drama with that as well. So we moved into some choral dramatization, because of a lot of our time together is spent through audio and just our voices. I challenge them to say, okay, well, how can you use your voices in different ways? Play with volume, play with tempo, play with repetition, play with their speed, with their intensity, whispering from soft voice to a loud voice. And so they were able to incorporate some drama techniques into their poetry. And then we ended up doing some presentations as well. So it was a very nice time for them to not only bring out all of what they're feeling, so tapping into that mental wellness and the well-being as well, and them having a chance to really just share what they're feeling and what they're going through. I thought it was very powerful. So I just wanted to offer that to the group and share a little bit about what's been happening in my grade 6, 7 world. So that's it for me. I think Nigel, Laura, you're gonna.
Yeah, I'm going to show a few things, and then we're going to move to Nigel. Thank you. That was so beautiful. I really enjoyed doing that. It's a really nice use of the space for the drama pieces and the sharing. And I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully this works. I just want to show you a couple of images of a piece that I'm working with my students. So this is a piece where they had to do, can everybody see that? Is that the sculpture, paper sculpture piece? Yes, perfect. Okay. So it was looking at different emotions, and then they had to make a paper sculpture using just things that they found around the house, do a drawing and do some writing, and then we're gradually moving that into poetry. So I wanted to show you just as an example of some things that you could do that are visual, that help with expression of emotion, and talk a little bit about how it feels to be in this very strange and potentially anxious situation. And easy on the materials, because that's one of the difficult things with visual arts, is that we Of course, don't know what materials the students have at home, and there's a huge equity issue in terms of students who might have access to art materials and some who, of course, don't. So this was something, you can see one of them used construction paper. This one, again, one is construction paper, one is just scrunched up regular white paper. So that, and then doing some writing about it. In terms of integrating it, you could work with the language teacher, or you know, depending on how you're set up, if it's a core or rotary thing, that you could do some integration there. And then another thing, I teach at Winona, so I just wanted to show you this. This is a design and tech piece, and it's just a still from a video, but kids were building Rube Goldberg machines, sort of like a marble run. You can see some of those on the Winona Twitter, but again, just using things that they found around the house and videotaping what they've done. So that was a really neat kind of design piece. And then just to say that there's a bunch of great resources, and I can share these with you after, but I know Lorraine is here on the call, and they put together an arts folder that has great resources in it. The Ontario Art Education Association also has some good resources for distance learning. And there's a Facebook group with Ontario Visual Arts teachers. So, and there's tons of resources out there, but those are 3 good locations for resources in terms of the visual arts. So I will just start sharing there. And I'll just leave that with that. We can discuss and have some more sharing afterwards. And now I think we'll have Nigel talk a little bit. Nigel.
Hey, thanks, Laura, and thanks, Iseta. That was great, and I'm loving the conversation that's already happening in the chat. And keep those kind of questions coming. And you know, we're a community here, putting them together. But when the 3 of us were co-creating today, we did want to just take a moment just to step back just a little bit, just to acknowledge you know, everything that we're all going through. This is really a unique situation for all of us, trying to manage our own personal lives. My 3-year-old is getting way too much screen time right now that, you know, my partner and I just had to let it go. And, you know, caring for older parents, you know, I know for myself, many teachers, we've heard that you are taking care of your older, you know, parents and others that might be susceptible to this virus. And as such, you know, while it was the ministry's decision and the TDSB's decision to move forward with this emergency remote learning, we always want everyone to just remember that we have to self-care, and we do have to take care of each other. And especially around the children piece, right? That you just remember that there is no obligation. You know, while we're giving descriptive feedback, there's nothing that we're marking for a report card in June. That information we'll try to draw on everything we did up until the 13th, and even that we're still talking with the ministry about. But if you can leave this workshop with anything, just remember this, that that at the end of all this, 20 years from now, when the children look back at this moment, you know, they're not really, we know as educators, they're not really going to remember all of the math or language or, you know, guided reading that we were doing with them. What they're going to remember is how they felt, right? And we need to make sure that our children, not only our own, but the ones that we're dealing with, that they feel loved and cared for. And as artists, we know all together that artists are, you know, it is art, through the art that we touch people's souls. So we just wanted to take a moment to really acknowledge and remember that. And I hope that we can all take that as our place of moving forward. So now we have been fortunate to have a few classroom teachers who are in emergency remote learning right now, who have agreed to kind of come on and share a little bit of their talent and a little bit of their classroom pedagogical approach that they're taking through emergency remote learning. So the first artist and school teacher we have coming up is Velvet Lacasse, and Velvet is a school teacher at the Grove. And she is going to take us through, I think she's going to play us a tune also. So yeah, Velvet, why don't you take it away? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I am so honored to be here and inspired already by the discussion. So thank you. I hope you can hear me. I am a primary teacher. I teach my own music, drama, and dance, but I partner with another teacher named Shannon Green, who teaches our visual arts. And I wanted to just share some of my success and some of my struggles. And if there's time, I have a ukulele and I'm happy to play a little tune. But I wanted to begin with a story about the healing power of dance that has really inspired me. And so I shared, I can share the links to these articles in the chat, and I also shared them with our school population, kindergarten to grade 6. It's a story of the jingle dress dance. And so I want to share what I've been learning. The jingle dress dance is a dance of healing. Usually it's performed at powwows by groups of women, but a lot of women have been sharing this dance virtually, and it's wonderful to see. It originated with Ojibwe people or Anishinaabe in the early 1990s, and there are different versions of how the dance began, but they all include a little girl who was very sick, and her father had a dream about a dance that would make her better. She wore a dress lined with rows of silver cones, and the sound of the jingles healed her. And so there are wonderful connections that we can make to this story because there are connections between the Spanish influenza epidemic that happened over 100 years ago and also COVID-19. So I'm very, you'll find very limited in my technological skills. I'm learning a lot. So I was just able to share the links, and I'm thinking about writing about my learning and sharing it on a Grove newspaper. So during this time of remote learning, we created an online newspaper and invited all of our community members to contribute. And it's a very simple Google Doc, but it has allowed us to share photographs and text. And in anticipation of the Day of Pink, I was able to send links to different songs as well as dances. So it's something that's working in our community. And I wanted to share that as a possible instructional strategy. And like I said, our visual arts teacher has also been sharing links by email so that families can engage with the visual arts and with dance at home. So some of the struggles I've been having around music are the, well, my own skills, but also just the delay that happens. I've tried to sing and play music with friends, and it's very challenging. So I've been thinking about how I can share music with my classes. And I know there are some firecrackers out there, teachers who have their own YouTube channels, and I've shared their work with permission, but I'm not yet at that level. But I'm thinking maybe call and response songs would work well. What I've learned is that everyone has to be muted and just one person can sing and you can sing along with them, but it's not exactly the same, but it's something that we've tried. And I'm actually here looking for more ideas around drama, because this is something I want to teach in the spring, and thinking about what that looks like when we are in isolation. I've been thinking about writing and role, maybe monologues. Are there ways we can do shared readings of texts or puppet shows? I'm not sure. So I said a thank you for the mirror activity, because that's definitely something I can try right away. And so Nigel had invited me. So if there's time for that, or I can save it till the end. But what are you thinking, Nigel? A verse, a chorus? Okay. I'm not a trained musical teacher, but I love to sing. So this song I think would work really well for primary. I actually heard some kids singing it on the street the other day. It's the Three Little Birds song. So I'll just do like a chorus and a verse and invite you to sing along, and invite you to share it with whoever you think might need it. Wow, I'm a little nervous. Okay, here we go. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Singing don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. I'll just sing one verse and then I'll stop. You're welcome to sing along with me just to see how chaotic and awesome it is. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising morning sun. Three little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. So I was thinking that that song could work right now around like identifying signs of spring and listening for bird songs. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna listen from now on. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so
wow.
much, Will.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So we really appreciate that. Just any more questions you got for Velvet in the chat, please like send them off to her. Next, another super wonderful musician and school teacher and just community person. Jordan Applebaum teaches over at Earl Grey Community School, and we are so grateful to having Jordan here with us. And Jordan, just need to make sure that we're unmuting you. Jordan, where are you? Co-hosts, can we find Jordan? Let's unmute Jordan. Sorry, Jordan, you can't unmute yourself, so we have to unmute you for you. Almost had you. Unmute. Okay, Jordan, away you go.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Nigel. Thanks everyone for coming. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
don't
we can
your
hear you.
video, but if you it's up to you if you want to start your video or not.
Okay, cool. Oh, sorry. I thought my video was going. You can't see?
We can't see you. AJ.
Stop video settings. It's there. Here my video. That is very strange.
I can see Jordan.
You can? So
Yeah,
maybe
I
you
can
sharing
see
your screen, Nigel?
Yeah.
Yep, away you go.
Perfect. Okay, there we go. So now you can all see me. Hi everyone. It's really good to see everyone. Just before I begin, thanks Nigel. That's awesome. I can see you dancing. And it says want to dance, so maybe we'll dance later.
Perfect.
Just a reminder to all of you that yes, we are at home, but we're not working from home. We're at home during a global crisis, trying to work. And with even though we are definitely all in this together, we're all in different boats, and same with our students. And it's just a good thing to remind our students so they can feel seen and heard, because they all have different things different challenges they're coping with. And like some of my students, I teach special needs, and some of them don't even, there's equity issues, some of them can't even get online, they don't have a computer access, and the board's working on that. But yeah, just to know that we're all in this together, but in different situations, I think helps our students feel seen and heard. So I'm gonna show you like a quick performance, and then just go through a few resources for you. So it's, I'm just gonna walk you through, this is something I did for our sports league because we're not playing soccer anymore. And so I did an online performance for them. But then I turned into a lesson with my students, and you can do this with music. Actually, I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'll just play this for you. And what you can do with your students is create something with either on your own if you want to record it, or if you want to choose favorite songs or get them to choose favorite songs, and then they play them for each other and they have to guess. So what I'm going to ask you to participate, and I'm going to play something for you. And as I play, I'm going to ask if you know the song, just guess it, put it in the chat. And I also put, so that it makes it look like a little bit of a stage here, we'll put some nice stars in the back for you, if we can see that. And I've got my bass here. Yeah. My apologies. I'm all wrapped up. All right. So if at any point you can't hear this, then just let me know and I'll try to get the sound working so you can hear it. So this first song, if you know it, this is a funk song. If you recognize it, you can just type in what song it is in the chat. right, we'll go on to the next one. You might know this one. It's pretty popular. Woo, someone got it. White Stripes. Can you name the song? That's okay. Yes, 7 Nation Army. Nice. Awesome. Okay, try this. This is a little more obscure and newer. I don't know if you recognize this. You might not recognize that. All right, we'll skip that one. Let's go to this one. Just looking at the chat. On the bed. Starry night. This is how I want to live. Gonna lay me down to love. I got so much more to give. Starry night. This is how I want to live. Gonna lay me down to love. I got so much more to give. Starry night. This is how I want to live. Gonna lay me down to love. I got so much more to give. Starry night. This is how I want to live. Gonna lay me down to love. I got so much more to give. There's something in this that you might recognize. Wait for it. Oh, I think it's in the next one. Here it comes. It's here. It's a higher sound, you'll hear it. There it is. It's from a different song. Anyone catch that? No. It's a Monsters and Men. It's the horn line from that. All right. So that's one thing you can do. I'm just using, I guess you couldn't see this was too low, but I'm just using like a little APC key 25 to like trigger everything. So it's all pre-recorded, which makes it easy to use with your students if you have something like that.
Thank you.
Or you can have them create stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking you can have them create, like share their songs, right? And you can play it together with a class, right? And have them
Exactly.
guess the tune, create tunes, which is awesome.
Thank you. Do we have time? Do we have time for me to show some resources as well?
So you might have to do that in the chat for now.
Perfect.
Since we do have a couple of other folks and we want to open up a little bit. Jordan, thank you. Oh my gosh, we're doing a little jam in my kitchen over here. So thanks very much, Jordan. Next wonderful superstar teacher that we have joining us here today is Hartley Weinberg. What? Go there, boy. Hartley, welcome. We will make sure that you are unmuted, and we are so glad that you could join us, Hartley. I'm sorry. Yeah, you are unmuted, and away you go, sir.
Okay. It's really been great seeing what people are doing. So I teach middle school at an alternative school, Delta, and also grades 7 to 12, Alpha 2. It's also an alternative school. It's Alpha 2 is very much catered to the homeschooling community. So I've learned a lot about homeschooling. And And I've been using these ideas in what I'm trying to model for the students on Google Classroom. So I've been doing a lot of Google Classroom stuff. I'm going to share, can I share with you something? Let's see, how do I share my screen? I'm going to try and share my screen here. All right.
Share screens at the bottom.
There we go, and share. Okay, so what if I do this? Oh, I see. How do I, and hold on, stop share. I want to actually share my whole screen. Sorry, yeah, this is new, right? How do I share the whole screen? I'm looking for it. I guess we just share the whole screen. There we go. All right, so good enough. All right, so on Google Classroom, made sure that I sent an email out. So can everyone see sort of a PowerPoint kind of thing? Yeah, you see it. Awesome. Thank you, Velvet. Made sure everyone had the link. I've been posting resources I've been collecting. So free textbooks. Pearson and Nelson have both made their textbooks available. And different music and art. I make sure, they have the link to the Louvre or, other events going on. Long McQuaid has been doing different things. Luke Doucette, one of my favorite guitar players, gave a guitar lesson online. So I've been making sure they're plugged in. And I've been modeling for them what I've been doing with my two kids, 8 and 5 at home, which has been Stopmotion Lego, and also looking into solar systems and atoms, which we'll get to in just a minute. And they're getting their exercise climbing around the house without touching the floor. So stop motion Lego. I think this has been a lot of fun. So let's see, is this going to work? Can I get to this? It's a link. Open the hyperlink. Can I open it? Right, 20-second video. That's it. So
I love it.
It's in terms of, let's say, primary or even junior story retelling. Then there is, for the older kids, I did with my grade 7s, I did a media scene recreation. Open the hyperlink. So you might remember this from WKRP. I'll just play a few seconds so you remember it.
I can give you the basics of the atom in 2 minutes. You'll understand it perfectly and remember it for months.
2 minutes? You crazy, you know that?
If I can teach you about the atom in 2 minutes, will you go back to school and finish out the year? How about it, huh? Come on, you're a betting man. How about it, Arnold?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, sure. You got it.
I got your word.
Yeah, you got my word. In 2 minutes.
We got a deal.
Yeah, we got a deal.
All right, sit down.
Okay, so let me just pause there. And then, so there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. I mean, this is actually a really good intro to the atom. But they also, the whole storytelling has been a lot of fun. So this was done by a student of mine, middle school. So this is grade 7 and 8.
I can give you the basics of the atom in 2 minutes.
Just forward it a bit.
2 minutes.
We got a deal.
Yeah, we got a deal.
All right, sit down.
Okay.
There are 3 gangs on the street, right?
Yeah, 3 gangs.
And this This right here is the territory. Now, here is a neighborhood. Got that? Yeah. And right in the middle of this neighborhood.
All right, so they go through the atom, and it's a scene recreation with Lego. So you can use, Chrome has WeVideo, it's free. Windows 10 is Movie Maker. And so if it's story writing, I got my kids to write a script. So once there was a police named Ken and he's trying to steal the world's best weapon. Okay, that's what they're into. Then we looked up, okay, so we wrote our script. Where does it take place? So we looked at some of the group of 7. They happen to like Lauren Harris. That was, you can see the relationship there, right? Anyways, whatever. There's, right, and there's their, so that's their set. You take a bunch of pictures, you move, and just to go back for a second, there's a lot of math. If you do 4 frames a second, and you can see my screen, and scene 1 is 5 seconds, 4 times 5 is 20, so 20 frames. How many bumps on the Lego does the Lego piece move? And you take your distance and you divide it up and you count the bumps per frame that has to move. And so they're doing a lot of simple math. And so here it is, they're breaking it out. Once there was a corrupt police named Ken, and there it is, 20 frames, so 20 pictures at 4 frames per second. Anyways, a lot of math. And you kind of get to drag drop into Windows Movie Maker. And it kind of looks like this. Let's see, is this going to work?
Once there was a corrupt police named Ken. And he's trying to steal the world's best weapon. But there was also a guy, John, just swimming in the lake. And there's a scientist named Mulder who's keeping watch of the world's best weapon. But the guy that trying to steal it, Ken has an eagle, so he sent his eagle to take the scientist Mulder away. Well, Ken, he's going to grab the world's best weapon. Because of its powers, he's going to camouflage, he's going to hide.
So you can kind of get the idea of where we went with that. Okay. One last thing I wanted, so that's the whole stop motion thing. It can go off in so many different directions. I started writing a song about the environment, and then you can, what I've done is I solicited people to record some audio, and I'll play you just a little bit of the song so you can kind of get an idea. Like, it's not a big deal. It's 1 second to 10 seconds. And this will be the last thing here. So you can kind of see what the song looks like. And I'll play you a little bit of it.
Just like rain, if it starts all of a sudden, it stops all of a sudden. When rain falls, flowers grow.
All right, so there's the obligatory laser sounds, and that was my 5-year-old saying, when rain falls, flowers grow. So, you know, if you're doing middle school, maybe they'll say something different, but then I'm going to throw it into the song, or there's different apps I've been experimenting with on your cell phone and stuff that you can collaborate. I'll stop there.
Hartley, thank you. Oh my gosh, math, language, all of that. Thank you so much. We're going to hope to do this again in the future, so we'd love to have you come back and share one of those wonderful rock guitar tunes you've got going too. So thanks very much, Hartley. And I just wanted to now welcome Lori Wolf. Lori Wolf is a teacher at Clinton and also a wonderful musician. And we are so grateful to have Lori here with us. Lori, do you want to go ahead?
Let me just figure out how to get the volume on. Oh, am I
Your
on?
volume's on.
Hey, hi, everyone.
Sorry, just before, Lori, just before you go, we're gonna open it up after Lori so that we can have some dialogue with everyone else. Okay, so hold on. Thank you, Lori.
No? Okay. Hi, I'm Lori Wolf. I teach at Clinton Street Public School. And what I tried to get everyone to do, especially in the older grades, was to give them a reason to get off the screens and just kind of run around their house on some sort of scavenger hunt. So I was inspired by two people. One of them is Doug Friesen. Some of you might know Doug. And also a musician, a very fine percussionist named Jesse Stewart. And Jesse Stewart, well, first Doug showed some ideas from other music teachers, whereas the project was go to, like, his idea was go around your house and find something that goes boing and record it, and then find something else that goes zing and record that, and then create a composition using those two sounds. I come from a big jazz improv kind of background, so I'm always interested to see kids' ideas as far as composition is concerned, and how they take a very simple idea and run with it. And if you leave the parameters fairly open.
I'm not getting any food.
Should ask him. Come on, Tess.
I'm hungry.
Banana or apple?
Yeah, anyway, so Jesse Stewart is a percussionist, and he takes everyday objects and makes cool stuff out of it. So I have a screen to share with you. So this is just for the older kids. This is for grade 4 to 6. Share content. I'm on my iPad, so I don't know how this works yet. Let me just try to figure that out. Screen recording. I don't want a screen recording. Sorry, give me one sec. I should have figured out how to do this before, but Google Drive. I just want my screen. Why can't I just see my screen?
There's a screen share button at the bottom of
It's
your
a screen, but then it asks me if I want to record something on my camera. Okay, let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1. Why is it record? I don't know what's going on. Okay, I'll just show it to you on my phone. I have it on my phone as well. So so if you take a look over here, my bad. So basically what I asked the kids to do was in the first part, I asked them to, and I made a video to demonstrate what I wanted them to do. I asked them to go around their house and find 5 objects that sound nice to them, preferably metal objects, and they should best suspend them so they get a nice resonance out of them, and try to recreate the pitches used in Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So it's a very familiar melody, very familiar rhythm, and I stressed that it didn't have to be exactly, but the pitches should be relative. So in Twinkle Twinkle, you have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Those are the notes in Twinkle Twinkle, right? So you're looking at so, la, do, so, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, right? That's Twinkle Twinkle. So I asked them to walk around the house and find 6 sounds that could, in their view at least, recreate those pitches. So they went around, and some of them went to town, as some kids do, and some of them, as some kids do, but at least they weren't doing it on a screen, whatever. And then they had to film it and send it to me. And some of them were stunning. Like one girl found out that wrenches, when they're suspended, sound really good. And I said, you can hit them with a screwdriver, you can hit them with a pen. Some kids didn't take the advice to suspend things, and they just left them on the floor. And then I was able to say, okay, here's a pro tip. If you have to leave things on the floor, put them on a towel or a blanket, so at least you're not hearing the floor as well, and we're just hearing the sound of the objects. And also, if there's a towel under it or a blanket and you strike it, it won't fly away when you try to hit it. So that's just a pro tip. And and I was able to leave tips like, okay, you hit it with a spoon, what happens if you hit it with a spoon? listening to timbre a little quickly, and they're composing something. Can use Twinkle Twinkle all the way to go. And really, this was my test. What they're going to do when I hear them in a song. Had that right? Like the next one we did water instruments. We just had an instrument called the water. The main elements in its production sound is water. So guys, you have to, what I did to demonstrate, I always do a demonstration so they can see me doing it too, is I took a with her.
Hey, Lori. So I think we're having some technical issues around the around volume at the moment.
Come here.
So
Or it might be if you have other things open, it might slow down the computer. I don't know if you have other things that you can close or turn off your video and just do the sound, because it's like slow motion and we can't quite hear.
Now, can you guys hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
Where did I leave off?
You were, last I heard, you were talking about when the objects were on the towel, hitting them, and
So
then
if you
it
hit them
got
on the
a
towel,
little cutting in and out.
Okay, so then I moved to a water activity where they had to create an instrument where water was the main element, and it changed pitch. It had to change pitch. So with you, I don't know if you can see, he made a video where make the light a little better.
all right, Lori.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Hey, Lori.
Yeah.
So that's
basically what he's doing is he took a shampoo bottle and he's pouring water from one size bowl into another using a shampoo bottle, and depending on the size of the bowl, it changes the pitch. And this is a boy who at best of times is sleeping on the floor in my classroom, so I was really impressed that he went and he did that all by himself. He seems to really like the scientific aspect of it. So right now I'm in this place where I'm having them run around on this little scavenger hunt and collect musical objects in their house. And that's for the bigger kids. And the smaller kids, I've been having them listen to very famous classical pieces like Peter and the Wolf and In the Hall of the Mountain King, and do some activities. Well, in the Hall of the Mountain King, I didn't tell them what it was about. I asked them to tell me what it was about. So then draw a picture based on what they thought In the Hall of the Mountain King was about, and then I told them what it was about. So that was cool that they were able to like listen to this very epic song and tell me what it was about. And then I put up a song that has no story as far as I know, which was the William Tell Overture, which has a lot more than the famous part that everybody knows. And they had to come up with, the story behind it. What is this song about? And so basically what they're doing is active listening. And I didn't send a video, I just sent a track, an MP3, so they have to, there's nothing to look at. And so they're now describing to me what, they're doing some active listening, and based on what they're hearing, fast sounds, slow sounds, polyphony, mono, crescendos, whatever, they're able to create a story that goes with it. And for the little kids, I just had some cut and paste activities that their parents could do with them and listen to music at the same time for the kindies.
Thanks, Lori.
That's what I've been doing.
Hey, is there any way you can leave us your website address so folks can keep up with your music and all the other stuff that you do? Like, because there's so much stuff. That would be great. Okay.
Okay.
All
My
right.
band
Thanks,
website
Lori.
is queenkongtoronto.com.
You are awesome. Thanks, Laura, for joining us. I think that I said, were you going to take us through a Q&A? And I think there's a couple of guests that you wanted to go through. Go ahead.
Yes, for sure. So we have with us a couple of high school teachers. So Aisha Hideaway is here, and also Tarly Blight. And we also have some COBA Collective of Black Artists members here as well, some founding members and also teachers, you know, mentors who have been instrumental in my dance profession. So it would be nice to, you know, open up the floor now and to hear from our high school teachers, so Tara and Aisha, if there's anything that you want to share with us in terms of how you're programming, how you're approaching this distance learning from the high school lens. And then after that, if we can hear from either Debbie or Charmaine or Bakari as well, just your thoughts around arts integration during this time and, you know, meeting the needs of our students and also teachers as well. So Aisha and Tara, are you still there? Yeah, Aisha's there. I see you, Aisha. If you can unmute Aisha's mic,
So we can
Nigel.
Trying to get it to go. This is a Hartley's. This is a Holly stop motion video that he made with Lego. Do you want to see it?
Nigel, if you unmute, can you unmute Aisha, Aisha's mic? Aisha.
I don't see Aisha on here. Hannah.
I see her.
Tara's unmuted.
Tara's there. Okay. Can you unmute Tara Lee?
Yeah.
There. Okay. Hi, Tara.
Hi, thanks for hosting this. It's been really informative and I've enjoyed that. And I said I love the whole mirroring thing. I actually have a Google Meet in 5 minutes with my dance class, so I will be doing that mirror meet with them. So thank you for doing that. But I did want to share something that we are doing right now. I do stress to my students that as artists, so I'm a high school teacher and I'm one of the leaders in the art school and also Earl Haig. And I have been stressing to them that take a look at the commercials that you're seeing on TV and what do we see? We see a lot of artists, musicians, dancers, and filmmakers really helping to bring some kind of normalcy and lift the spirits of the community. So that's something that we should be tapping into. And it shouldn't be about creating art for a mark or creating art for volunteer hours. It really should be about doing the arts because that's our passion and that's our love. And a lot of heads were nodding. The students that I work with seem to be more driven with the marks. I'm not going to do this unless I'm getting marked on it. And really been stressing that. So what we are doing right now is my one of my dance classes, my grade 11s, they're going to be, I've asked them to create a video looking at the 3 C's. We're looking at the COVID-19, community, and confined spaces. So I've asked them to do a video, just putting up their phone and any kind of angle, looking at some kind of a confined space, like either underneath a coffee table, underneath, maybe in a corner where they are, and they're just going to be doing some kind of choreography that's less than a minute to share. So just looking at those 3 things. From there, I've challenged them if they can creatively think of different ways to share that, either working with a friend from afar, distance, and creating some kind of editing. So I've really, we have been kind of directed by our principal to keep things very simple because we're a non-semestered school. So our students are taking 8 courses for the year. So we've really had to simplify everything. So I really invited them and encouraged them. This is free learning. This is free knowledge that we're sharing. So it's easy to take a back seat and to be sitting at the mark that you're at, because they all know that no matter what they do, their marks aren't going to be going down. So we've been talking about that, and they've all really listened to that. And we've been really lucky that they're being engaged with this assignment, and they've been asking me how we're going to do this. And right now, I think one of our challenges is how do we'd like to share this with our community at our school. And we've had to look at media releases, how we work with that. And also for the dancers, looking at using free copyright music. That seems to be difficult for a lot of the dancers. They tend to go with the copyright music, something very popular, not. So that's been a challenge for them to look at the public domain and to search with that. So just wanted to quickly share that, that I've asked them to look at the 3 C's and how we can share that creative work of their confined space and a message to our students and our community. So,
thank you.
Thank
you so much, Tara. You know, we're watching the time here and we're getting close to the end, but Aisha, I know if we can give you like maybe a minute.
Sure.
A minute and a bit, because we want to hear from a few other people before we wrap up.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much, Aisha. Thank you, Tara.
So I teach secondary. I teach dance and social science. So I teach fashion and dance, and I usually combine that in some way. But what I've been doing a lot with my dance class is I've been just making sure that they're moving. We usually do yoga on Mondays. I've themed every day. We do Move It Mondays, Terrific Tuesday, Tone It Tuesday, all different things just to keep them engaged in general. And so now, because that's changed, I know that they're stressed with their academics. I have been having them use the same yoga videos that we've been doing, which is Yoga with Adrienne. And there's tons of videos on there. And I had them do a 7-day motivational challenge last week and then film it. Or take clips or pictures and stills. And then I had them use either WeVideo or another video editing system and submit that to me so that I could see that they're still moving. A lot of them commented on the fact that they really enjoyed it. It really calmed them. So it was a way of moving without stressing them out too much. And it was something bringing some normalcy back into, I guess, their day, looking at something that we were doing prior. I'm currently looking at how I'm going to transition our dance exam, which used to be a big production because they're all really missing that idea. And I'm moving towards compositions, and I'm going to figure out a way for them to do stuff within the space they have using, we'll be using site specific in a very different way. And just keeping them moving. So I tend to want them to document in some way or form their movement, and their movement vocabulary is very different because currently I'm teaching a 10, 11, 12 split. They all have different dance experience and different abilities. So they work with what they have and the information that we have been doing. I've been using a website to help them look at composition, the elements of dance, so that they are examining those, and we're going to be focusing on a different one each week.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think what we're going to do now is open up the floor. Whoops.
Yes, we just have a very few minutes left. If there were any, if there's any quick questions or comments that people would like to share, just before we wrap it up.
Your thoughts.
So
I know Charmaine is here. Debbie is here. Bakari, Toba. Any thoughts, questions? I know the chat's been going crazy, which is great.
Yeah, and maybe just while we're kind of at the end of things, I wanted to say welcome and hi to Yolanda Badesi and Natasha Rodriguez, who are ETT executive officers and who are here on the webinar. And I think maybe Natasha was going to say something. Let me just see if Natasha's mic is muted. I will unmute Natasha. Hey, Natasha, do you have a few words at the end here? I unmuted you, Natasha.
Oh, sorry, hi everyone. This is Natasha. Sorry, I'm like literally double tasking. Thank you so much for inviting me on the call. I'm so excited to hear all of the amazing stuff that people are doing around the arts. It was so great to hear the Bob Marley song that started off. So thank you, Belvite, and the other different contributions that people made. I'm someone who loves the arts. I was a drama teacher and continue to use arts even in my everyday life. My son actually was on the website this morning showing me different ways that we can paint together. So I do believe that the arts are very therapeutic, and just really think that we need a time where we can sort of get through this time where we can just really sing and love and celebrate and embrace each other. And it's so easy to do that when we use the arts. So I appreciate being on the Zoom and seeing what everyone's doing, and definitely will implement a lot of the things that people have shared today. So thanks so much for having me. And I look forward to continuing to connect with everyone.
Cool. Thanks, Natasha. So I don't know if there's no further questions or comments. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. So amazing. It was super exciting to hear all those things.
Laura, I think Yolanda's here also.
Yes, Yolanda was here. I wasn't sure if you wanted to say something. Yolanda, would you like to have a
I didn't want to say anything, but Nigel always pushes me to speak. So thank you very much for that, Nigel. I wanted to just say there's not much to add. It's fantastic to be here. It's so energizing to be with all of you. I'm not an artist myself. Those of you who have heard me sing, actually I can sing, but those of you who've seen me dance know that I'm not an artist. But we hear all these great stories and we talk about heroes, and all of you infusing this life and this energy and basically another world for students is so laudable, and you're my personal heroes. And also just the power of many, and how all of you coming together to support each other, offering your resources, being here to praise each other. I think it's fantastic, and it really is a good news story. I think that you don't realize it, but being there for somebody and giving them an opportunity. Not everybody can read and write. Not everyone's good at that, but I think most children in some way can connect with the arts. And, you know, that is what we do. And so you are saving lives in that way. And the fact that you're here supporting each other, I think is so great. And never underestimate the power of team and the power of building union power. And I wanted to say thank you so much to the hosts for all that they have done, and for all of you for being here, for sharing your gifts. And I encourage you all to keep it up. And I just put some songs that I really liked on Twitter in my Spotify, so that you can find things that are uplifting and inspiring. And keep singing, keep dancing, keep drawing, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. Love and solidarity.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Yolanda. I know we're cognizant of the time. It is 2:02. So if you are, you know, we are going to wrap things up. But before we wrap things up, I know I just wanted to open up the floor again to any other questions or any comments that maybe anyone wanted to add before we say our final goodbyes, or any last few words of wisdom. And you can just wait, because I think all the mics are muted, right? So.
Oh, well,
yes. Oh, sure. Debbie Nichols Scarrett would like to say something. Nigel, can you mute Debbie Nichols Scarrett's mic? She's also connected with the TDSB and does some work with Lorraine there in the TDSB, with TDSB Creates, with elementary and secondary students as well.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Debbie.
Great. I'm going to make it quick. And forgive me, I wasn't on the call before. I was having a bit of trouble logging on, but I just wanted to, I wasn't sure what was mentioned before, but I just wanted to mention something that I was having a conversation with actually Bakari about, and the concept of being present online to model to whoever we're influencing with our students, to accept and allow what's happening. And in the vocabulary, or in the concept of dance and movement, are we, or let's be cognizant of creating spaces where students and individuals can move, not to escape anything, but just how can we accept and allow what's happening and just ride with the wave and trust that there is creative flow, innovative flow that comes out of that concept of, you know, creating movement, a movement sequence, and just seeing what comes up in the body and accepting, okay, if it's fear, accepting the fact that people, that we're stuck inside. I don't use that terminology. I find that it's a retreat, but I was just surrendering is the word that was mentioned. Bakari was mentioning it, and I was like, it's so true. So I think we need how to teach people how to do that through our art form. So yes, it's for creativity, of course, it's for entertainment, of course, it's for, you know, stimulating and everything, but it's also for us to, in our vessels, our earthen vessels, in this point of history, to allow ourselves to accept and allow and go with the flow, as opposed to fighting and trying to get back to what's normal. As creatives, we know that we trust the creative spirit, the creative process, and we just, but in order to do that, we just have to accept and allow.
Thank you.
That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, so I think at this point we are going to, I think, wrap things up. And we want to thank you so much. So on behalf of Nigel, Laura, and myself, and the Building in Power Caucus, we want to say thank you so much for joining this first, maybe, you know, we were hoping to continue this and maybe, you know, do another one, because it seems like we need to get together, we need to connect, we need to dialogue, we need to talk. So I think it's a great idea.
Music.
I'd love to see it. You, yeah. For real, Nigel, for real. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, whatever it is, get some sunshine if you can. And we thank you for joining us. Take care.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Yo, thanks.